Welcome to our weekly roundup of key economic and business developments in Sri Lanka. Here are this week's top stories. Sri Lanka's private creditors sends in debt rework proposal. IMF deal to be debated in Parliament. Bangladesh dues extended by 6 months. Strong rebound in the country's manufacturing and services. In our top story this week, Reuters, citing sources, stated a committee of Sri Lanka's international private creditors have sent its first debt rework proposal to the country's authorities. They account for over $12 billion in bonds outstanding. However, details was not immediately available. Separately, the Paris Club of Creditor Governments aimed to start negotiations to restructure Sri Lanka's bilateral debt after a committee was set up by French, Japanese and Indian finance ministers and representatives of Sri Lanka. However, China, Sri Lanka's biggest bilateral creditor, did not join the announcement. Next Tuesday, President Ranil Wickremesinghe will present the IMF Extended Fund Facility Programme to Parliament, to be debated for a week, culminating with parliamentarians deciding whether to support or not. Opposition parties have criticized the deal, stating that the government has agreed to all IMF conditions without considering the suffering of the people in order to fulfill the conditions. On Monday, Bangladesh extended the repayment period of the $200 million loan to Sri Lanka by 6 months. According to Bangladesh Bank Governor Abdul Rauf Talukdar, Sri Lanka would pay the first installment by August this year and another installment by September. He added that the Sri Lankan Central Bank Governor had informed that there would be no further extensions. Sri Lanka's manufacturing and services rebounded strongly in March. Manufacturing PMI turned positive after 9 months, whilst services sector PMI returned to the growth territory. New orders and production sub-indices rose, mainly due to the seasonal demand. However, employment continued to decline, mostly due to non-replacement of retirements and resignations. Several respondents continued to express their concerns over rising operational costs from higher electricity tariffs and increased tax rates. Sri Lanka Tourism kicked off a series of roadshows in select cities in China. Mainly targeting Shanghai, Beijing and Guangzhou, the main purpose is to promote Sri Lanka as an attractive tourism destination across the country. China is a main source market, and prior to COVID pandemic, at least 240,000 Chinese travelers visited Sri Lanka each year, but numbers fell to less than 5,000 in the past 2 years due to China's strict travel restrictions. In other news, Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara said that on Monday the Cabinet approved the proposed roadmap and timeline of the Ceylon Electricity Board restructuring process. Accordingly, the final draft of the new Electricity Act will be presented in Parliament by end of May. Now let's take a look at the weekly movement of the all-share price index and the S&P SL 20 index at the Colombo Stock Exchange. At the Treasury bill auction held on Wednesday, yields on all maturities increased. Bids amounting to 158 billion were received, of which 90 billion rupees were accepted. The Sri Lankan rupee fluctuation against the dollar this week, with the central bank's indicative mid-spot rate ranging between 319 and 320. And with that, we wind up for this week. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel at the link below for more updates on economic and business developments in Sri Lanka. Until we see you again next week, thank you for watching. Stay safe.